The Irrational Confidence Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Irrational Confidence Podcast. We're talking NFL football. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we switched from the college game. We are over talking about the NFL because there is one main game. It's the big game. It's the Super Bowl. It's the Eagles and Chiefs. I'm joined by my co-host, the man that wanted Sir Mix-a-Lot to do the national anthems because that guy, he likes big punts and he cannot lie. I'm joined by my co-host, Fresh. How you doing, buddy?
That's your best of the year right there. I'll give you that. That's you set the
best
bar
of the
high.
year or best of 2025?
We'll say 25. You set the bar
at least best
there.
of 25. Yeah,
set the bar at 25 on February 3rd. I'm doing fantastic. Albeit that the Chiefs and Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Hey, it's the last football game, folks. That's the only reason I really truly want to watch. Is the last football game until August.
That's a good point.
As much as you struggle through it, the commercials, which aren't as good as they have been in the past. Like I think they've watered down the commercials. They're not as funny as they used to be. But the overall spectacle, let's enjoy it, embrace it. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be drama. And it'll be a fun affair. Definitely something extremely controversial will happen on Sunday night in New Orleans.
You really think so?
I got a feeling there's going to be some play, some call. I was talking to my other buddy who's a Bills fan going into the AFC Championship game, and we were talking about penalties. Like, well, technically, Josh Allen has drawn more personal fouls than Mahomes has. But then I also layered on. It's like, but the Chiefs might not get in quantity, but they get the quality play. The one moment in that game was critical. Not in the first quarter when they're already driving, tacking on 15. Who cares? It is that fourth quarter like they got with the non-measurement or terrible video review of Josh Allen on the fourth down play. They get the ones that are in the moment when they really truly have the game in the bounce, where there is always some sketchiness around it potentially. So, you got to have, I just have a feeling at some point something's going to happen and the fans are going to erupt. Twitter's going to erupt. Instagram's going to erupt. Heck, it might be so controversial that, AIM chat will come back and people get pissed off. But it's going to be something outlandish that everyone will be watching and they'll make a claim on.
Mike, I need to download AIM if it's back.
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Maybe in MySpace might even get back involved.
Oh, shoot, man. I was fresh. The more I was thinking about this game, and right now the Chiefs are a 1-point favorite in the over-under set 49 at time of record here. I thought about because again, I'm trying to get myself excited for this game. I'm trying to get myself up to have a feeling or an emotional reaction to it, and I just don't, because I don't know if it's just fatigue. I don't know if it is a variety of different things, whether or not it's the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl 3 years in a row and just kind of meh. The Eagles, people have their opinion about their fan base or the team as well. But the only thing that kind of brought me back, and someone had posted a clip again, was going all the way back to last offseason and the Saquon pick video clip from Hard Knocks involving the Giants. And I guess it's my one thing, going back in time, I kind of want Saquon Barkley just for that moment to win a Super Bowl. I don't necessarily feel like I want the Eagles to win. I don't have a hatred for the Eagles like other people, because I'm a Browns fan, folks. I don't massively dislike either one of those teams, although I'm debating whether or not to give up my Browns fandom, but that's a whole nother conversation for a different time and place. I think I'm more rooting for Saquon to win a ring instead of the Eagles to win. That's kind of where I'm at.
To take on that, I have a respect for Saquon. Now, I had a fantasy draft, and everyone was I had the fifth overall pick, and I took Saquon, and I got a lot of crap for it when I drafted. Everyone's kind of laughing at me, looking at me. I was like, just wait and see. And every single week, that dude just every week he would just put on a show. And I ended up winning the league in the end. So I had the last laugh, but you kind of knew there was something behind him. He's I'm actually revived. I'm in a situation that actually wants to win while I'm here. The Giants that he was with were not the Giants of the Eli Mannings and the Michael Strahans, the Justin Tucks, like those, Tom Coughlin Giants. This is a different Giants organization that is focused on winning here at the Eagles. And he has bought into it. He embraces it. He is the center point of the offense, but he has help on the offense. He has the offensive line. He has receivers. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to be a 500-yard passing quarterback. He has to just manage the offense, which I think actually suits him a lot better. But Saquon can be productive because he is not the only guy, and there's a lot of other weapons that allow him to be explosive because it's not all focused on him. And you see the energy of, I'm trying to accomplish something. I'm going to bet on myself and try to get it done. He has, I think, you can't take another term other than just refreshed, renewed, and it's cool to see. But in addition to that, you want to kind of root for that. There's a lot of dogs playing for the Eagles. And they took down Alabama and basically ended that entire dynasty run. And they have a chance here of kind of taking the same kind of, element, especially on defense of, can they shut down Patrick Mahomes? Can they be that core group of players, to go out there and end this? Cause what would this be? Four of the last 6 years?
Something like that.
Be winning the Super Bowl. I mean, or play at least, I don't know, they're at least playing their fifth of the last 6 or 7. So, it's a chance to sort of put the end to it. I mean, Kelce, how much does he have left in the tank? There are some old veterans on that, that team. How do the Chiefs keep doing it? It's a chance for the Eagles to make some history, and they've obviously played them once 2 years ago. I got a feeling they're a little salty after the way that game turned out. Granted, it was the correct foul. There was a little, hook and hold there on the receiver. But they kind of feel like they let that game away. And will that fester? Will that sort of layer with them and give them extra motivation, especially in the fourth quarter? Because that's where the Chiefs dominate. It's the fourth quarter. How many times have we seen the Chiefs down by multiple digits and somehow they just somehow come back? Can the team actually play a solid fourth quarter and keep the Chiefs going? And that's going to really rely on that Eagle defense and Vic Fangio and, Jalen Carter, and the entire crew, how they can sort of just be the stalwarts and shut it down. We'll dive a little more into the game here in a second, but there are storylines. I think the most obvious one is how many times we hear Kelce's name being mentioned, whether it's Jason or Travis, and how many people will throw up, the nauseating, factor that we keep hearing those two names coming and coming and coming again, just never go away. It's just one of those, it's an avalanche at this point where it's just become too much. And at some point we just got to end it.
Well, I don't necessarily know, like, going deep into this football game here, like with X's and O's status. The one question I think I'd probably ask you, though, Fresh, let's say Kansas City pulls this out. Mahomes is, and you're right, it is, they would have played 5 out of the last 6 Super Bowls here, if that's correct. I'm looking up right now.
Actually makes sense. The Rams-Bengals were the only one that wasn't involved in Chiefs. Yeah.
Right. So looking at that, Fresh, let's say Mahomes wins this. He's got 4 rings in basically a 6-year time period. No one, not really any other quarterback, especially modern day era quarterbacking, has anyone ever done this. Everyone's going to point to Tom Brady, and Brady was very impressive throughout his entire career. Dude played for 20 plus years, I think, right?
Yeah.
22?
Yeah, he played for 22, but he had a longevity. He was in, I think someone broke it down, where he had 3 segments of his career, and all 3 segments were Hall of Fame worthy. So he had longevity of being around for so long.
So where do we put Mahomes now? Let's just fast forward through the game. Let's say Kansas City wins this thing. Is Mahomes automatically top 5 quarterback all time?
I mean, love him or hate him.
4 rings.
The dude's got to be top 5 all time because he can make some crazy throws. Now, look, have been there times where the refs may have given benefit of the doubt in some situations? Probably.
Yeah, it is what it
is. But the dude gets the job done with a cast of characters, very similar to what Tom Brady did early on, where it wasn't the Randy Moss year. They were undefeated. They lost in the champion. They lost the Super Bowl. The years where they had the Deion Branches, the David Pattons, guys got it done. They brought back Kareem Hunt this year when, they've had Pacheco being hurt. Kelce hasn't exactly had the greatest season, but in the playoffs he's been there. They've still been trying to find out consistent wide receivers, but They got Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown's finally healthy, and then obviously they filter in, Xavier Worthy, but none of those guys who were dominant season. They just plug guys in, get in formation, read listen to the coverages and assess it and make the catches when they have to. But he's still the guy, understanding the breakdowns of line of scrimmage, has a great relationship there with Andy Reid. And the two of them are so in tune that they can just evolve the offense, and make it their own every single game. And it's, as much as it might make you sick to watch him play sometimes, the dude can get it done and he's a winner. And it's, he tunes out a lot of other nonsense. I mean, there's people that chatter obviously about the Taylor Swift thing and the Kelce thing, whatever. I even mentioned earlier. There's stuff that people, his brother's a weirdo. His dad has some serious issues. People make fun of his wife, and he gets all that social media outside, noise, and he still just gets it done. He locks himself in, focuses, does the right thing off the field, and wins football games. In this world that we're in, I think people hate him because he's a Chief and he wins, but we also got to have to respect that the dude does it amidst all the chaos, and he could be involved in some bad stuff, and the dude just he separates himself really well on and off the field and produces when it matters most.
I'm going to be willing to say, and again, I'm going to preface this saying what I would consider modern day football. He's top 3 quarterback all time in modern day football. And I'm going to put the cut point at about 1995 right now, because I think over the last 30 years, football has really changed, especially from where it was in the mid 90s coming out of, the 80s where it was. So I'm not really going to put Montana and Terry Bradshaw and all of those guys into the same group, because I think it's a different style of the game. It's more of a run-oriented game. But again, I really would have a hard time putting anyone over Brady right now at this time, just due to the fact of his, like you said, the longevity, what he did year in and year out for New England. I think Patrick Mahomes might be on that way, but he's not there just quite yet. The real question would come into play for me, for someone like Mahomes, is comparing him to people like Rodgers, comparing him to a guy like Manning, comparing him to even both Eli and Peyton. I think he is better than Eli, but again, I also consider Peyton Manning probably one of the best pure quarterbacks ever to play the game here as well. But he doesn't have the hardware to show for it. So that's where I get into my debate myself with Mahomes here. Like, I get it. Yeah. The dude is almost too nice when it comes off on press conferences. He's very personable. He comes across very easygoing, very, excited that he's happy at the point in his life where he's at. And I give the dude a lot of credit for that. You're right. He could go to a dark place. He could go and be involved in scandals or off the field issues, and he's not. His kids' names are a little awkward, but, to each their own. It's his kids. You name what you want. Is what it is. But I don't know. I think there's, for some reason with NFL fans, there's a portion of NFL fans that don't want to put him into that pantheon of all-time great quarterbacks, especially in this day and age. They just don't want to put him in there, and the dude deserves to be in there.
Well, I think you brought up a great point where, Tom Brady's longevity, and here, look at this. You mentioned Peyton Manning, and I think Manning versus Brady, the Colts and the Patriots had a lot of big time duels. And I was always like, Manning, if Tom Brady and the Patriots didn't exist, how many Super Bowls would have Peyton gone to? Ben Roethlisberger got to 3 Super Bowls in that time period. So that shows the Steelers were there competitive. But in this run, the only team that's actually been able to, in the AFC, once Tom Brady sort of left, is Cincinnati. And that was that 1 year, and that one game in a second half comeback.
Right.
And I think actually Cincinnati is the one team that scares Buffalo, because they obviously beat them in the playoffs, and they scared Kansas City. And I think if Joe Burrow and that team could figure out the first half, how to play in September, they can make a run and really disrupt. But they haven't been able to get done in September, and they've ruined those chances. The Bills obviously can't get it done in the playoffs. They beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but the Chiefs get them when it matters. The Ravens, same kind of way. They played competitive in the regular season, but in the playoffs last year in the title game, they just couldn't. They had their chances and they couldn't get it done. They allowed him to hang around. When it matters most, Mahomes and Kelce and whoever's wearing that red or and that yellow and that white, they batten down the hatches and they figure it out and they get it done. And that's where it kind of reminds me of the Tom Brady teams. They didn't have all that elite talent. They just had guys who could figure it out. Like Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Wes Welker, the guys who showed up on the team, they're like, these aren't superstar all-pro receivers. They just knew how to get job. They knew how to be in the space and make the catches, and their quarterback trusted them, and they trusted the quarterback, and they were able to just matriculate the ball down the field and get it done when it mattered, especially clutch late drives. And Mahomes has a very a very strong ability to get the team ready to play late in ball games. We just mentioned it. How many times they're down in the second half or in the fourth quarter, double digits, and they come back and they win ball games late. They aren't out of it. They find ways to get it done. They keep themselves within that 2 touchdown range. If you can get up by 20 on them, they're done. But they never get that far away where they always are the striking distance late in the ball game. And we know how, fourth quarters, it's all that, it just sort of things can happen. And in a Super Bowl, even that, with halftimes being so much longer, you're basically an extra period to rest and recover, make adjustments, a lot more than you usually do, and then come back out refreshed in the second half. Normally, the NFL halftimes are so fast. If you're trying to watch it at home, you barely have a chance to go find some food, use the bathroom, and come back, and you're already in the second half. In the Super Bowl, you have almost 3 times as much time to sort of calm yourself down, reset, and it allows them to finish out the football game. It's a leadership. It's a discipline. It is unique and amazing. And compared, like I think Peyton had a great run. He won obviously the Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Eli was a benefit of 2 amazing defenses. He was clutching those Super Bowls. You don't take me away from that. But the defenses from on his teams, those 2 Super Bowls versus the Patriots were fantastic. They showed up and they got it done. Mahomes hasn't had lights out defenses, but they've shown up when they had to help offset and allow the comebacks to happen. It's just a full team effort. And you got to remember, Andy Reid at the head, he knows what he's doing. He has those guys ready to play. And sometimes luck finds the fortunate, and you make your own luck and you somehow get it done.
Yeah, so if the Eagles pull the upset here, Fresh, because again, I think a lot of the smart money is probably going to go on Kansas City versus Philadelphia, or Kansas City over Philadelphia here. Eagles pull the upset. Are we, are you shocked? Because again, money line is only plus 105 right now, so it's pretty much an even game.
The one thing that allows me is that the Eagles were there before. This is not a new environment. Hurts is there. Smith is there. Goddard's there. A.J. Brown's there. Most of the offensive line, outside of Jurgens, that said, the offensive line's been through it, though. Sirianni's been there. I want to see how the individuals for the Eagles, I want to see how they react. The young defensive players, because there's a lot of young guys who have talent on the Eagles defense. Are they in awe of the environment? Are they ready for the spectacle and all the pomp and circumstance? Is Vic Fangio ready to call a great game? Is he going to be in the lights? Kellen Moore, who's in discussions to be the Saints head coach, is he focused on getting the Eagles to win? And as much as we talked about Saquon earlier, the Saquon let the moment become too big, that he's finally got to the Super Bowl. And you're kind of like, man, you got to stay focused to finish the season. Not just getting the Super Bowl is not the goal. To win the Super Bowl is the goal for every single, all 30, outside of maybe 4 or 5 teams every year, the goal for everyone is to win the Super Bowl. And so you got to keep that focus of, all right, we're not done yet. We've got to finish out these next 4 quarters on top with the most points. I don't care if it's by 1 or by 20, you got to figure it out. And I think that talent, that experience is going to help them. I'm worried about the Chiefs running game against the stall. That front 7 for the Eagles can shut down the run. Pacheco hasn't been fully healthy yet. Kareem Hunt, do I trust him? I do not trust Jawan Taylor, the right tackle for the Chiefs. And yes, he false starts every single play. And I hope he gets called for it a few times because it's pretty blatant and obvious. His protection of Mahomes is not the greatest.
Right.
But the receiving core, though, they're on the same page. So how can that young secondary, like I mentioned, can they just shut out the lights, be focused and ready to shut down these, and manage the Chiefs offense? Because if they let the lights shine too brightly for them, they're going to get exposed.
Can we get a young Terry Tate or a Terry Tate Jr. commercial in this Super Bowl, please?
Oh, we need some funny commercials.
We really do.
I think there's a Shane Gillis one coming out with Post Malone that should be pretty funny for us. But, can we get some other ones that really get me really just bust out laughing and maybe spit a beer across the couch because you're laughing so hard?
Right. Again, I've been looking at some of them.
I want to be entertained. I want
to be entertained by this game. And that's the hard part. I keep looking back at it and going, all right, I'm not extremely excited about these. There's a few minor storylines. I mean, you got my interest, at least NFL. And again, it's the last football game of this season before we move over into the draft season and then kind of preparing for the following year. But I'm not excited to watch this football game. I want to see kind of how the storylines play out. So I guess, in a roundabout way, I'm still excited, but I want to be entertained by the commercials. I'm not familiar enough with Kendrick Lamar's music, so I don't know a ton of what I'm supposed to expect at this halftime show. Again, it's not for my generation.
Can we just have Kendrick Lamar and Drake just fight at get a ring after and have them just MMA? That'd be more entertaining.
No, I got a better idea. We are going to do old XFL style kickoff rules where the guys
just go at it. They already have beef. They have beef already in real life. Just have them settle on the field at halftime. That would break ratings right there.
Right. Yep. And again, they don't got to fight. Let's not turn this into a giant fight. All you got to do is 25 yards away, put a football down. First one that gets it wins whatever beef they got going on.
I mean, I'm thinking literally Malice in the Palace. Just having the two of them go at it, settle right now. It's over.
That's a little extreme there, Malice in the Palace there, Fresh. We're not going into stands here. Come on.
We'll get Ron Artest to be the ref.
Oh, yeah. We're right. Lance Stevenson.
Questions for you. All right. To add some little spice, if you remove Saquon and Travis Kelce, give me your best anytime touchdown bet for the Chiefs, anytime touchdown bet for the Eagles, removing the two obvious ones from Kelce and Saquon.
Xavier Worthy, for some reason I got that. And then I'll go this. Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown.
Okay. That's a pretty as long as the linebacker for the Commanders isn't playing somehow for the Chiefs and driving over the line of scrimmage at the 1 yard line, I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Right. If you told me I can't go with either quarterback, I got to go with another skill position player, I would probably pick A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown and Xavier Worthy would be my two ones there. Talk about a career for him to start off a career, coming out of he was Texas.
Who?
Xavier Worthy.
Yep, Texas.
It was Texas, yeah. Coming out where people really knocked him coming out of the draft.
Well, they knocked his skill, but the dude was the fastest. He crushed the 40.
Right. And people were always questioning whether or not that was legit. Fresh, again, all right, we'll change this back to you then. Not necessarily with company, which company are you expecting to have the best commercial this year?
Which company?
I don't even know.
Doing it.
Budweiser, or are you gonna go Pepsi, Coke? I'll let you kind of group them together. You could say Pepsi or Coca-Cola. You could choose one of the two soda. You could get both soda companies in one guess.
I have give me the Doritos. The Frito-Lay.
Doritos is good.
Doritos always does it. I'm going to give Doritos a chance to really strike some gold.
Right. Again, I think anyone who brings back, I think you could have a wild time with the new age of college football and stuff, and Terry Tate Jr. and NIL deals.
Oh, that
would be phenomenal. Nike could do it right now.
What they should do is have some of the kids who are getting NIL money from the bigger brands just those commercials will be more toned down. They don't want the kids making it funny. You have to have a fictional character doing it. New Balance or whatever does it. You have to have something like that where the kid's trying to get recruited or something, because that would be pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, Fresh. We'll close it up there. But guys, before you head on out of there,
who's your pick?
Okay, who's my pick?
Your pick?
Oh, I gotta give you my pick here. Just for giggles, Give me. I'll go easy money. I'll go like the favorite here. Give me Kansas City, and I'll say this: I did see this prop bet. Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift at the end of the game. Two of them get hitched. Hugh retires, and they go off and let the kids enjoy themselves, have a great wedding, and congratulations on all your, success there, both of you. But, yeah, that's my pick there. Kansas City and Travis Kelce gets engaged.
Over or under the 49. And who's your MVP?
I'll take over, and I'll give it to Mahomes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go on the other side.
If it's Eagles, though, Saquon's the MVP.
I'm taking the Eagles to win. I'm taking Saquon the MVP, and I'm also taking the win.
Yeah. If Eagles win, Saquon's got to be the MVP.
It's Saquon or it's Hurts because he has 5 tush pushes for 5 touchdowns or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's got to be something crazy. So, all right, folks. Well, hey, that's our pick for the Super Bowl. Make sure you're checking us out. Hey, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because we have something really special coming up for you guys. You don't want to miss this one. This is our anniversary episode. This was one of the first episodes we ever did live here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, get notified every single time we drop a new episode. We are coming to you. While there are only 2 teams playing in this, we will have 32 teams getting ready for the NFL draft. And this year, we are doing not 1, but we are going to do 2 full first-round mock drafts. We're going to have some guests join us. Our legal eagle, our producer, who join us every single year, they're going to be joining us. We will draft the first round completely blind, which means none of us are going to know anyone else's picks. We got to prepare like GMs there and make selections as well. So if you are going to look forward, if you're like me as a Browns fan, who your entire franchise is in disarray as your best player asks for a trade, the draft becomes your Super Bowl. It is what it is. I'm sorry. That's the life of a Cleveland fan. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, make sure you don't miss out on this. So if you're also like Tennessee fan, draft might be your Super Bowl now too. So hit the subscribe button and notified every time we drop a new episode. Like, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. Join us on social media. We're on the X. Make sure you interact with us, engage with us. There's a lot of great things going on over there. Check out spinballsports.com. Special thanks to our producer, Drew. Without him, none of this is possible. We got one more football game here fresh. Then we move on to draft season. Maybe start talking a little college basketball along the way as well.
Just a little bit. It's almost March Madness time. Like you said, hit us at spinballsports.com. We're going to have a lot of draft content, whether it's positional rankings, top 150, top 50 offense, top 50 defense, 3-round mock drafts, pre-Super Bowl, pre-combine, and then pre-draft, multiple layers. So hit it up, involve it, take a little, spread the word, enjoy it. Hit us up on social medias, all like Seth said, and obviously our YouTube channel. Keep spreading the word, spreading the love. Leave comments, leave likes, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And with that, we're on Super Bowl. We're on to draft season. Bye, y'all.